Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Shuffle Music Reviews and Retrospectives from a Gracelessly Aging Millennial. My name is Keaton. We are here with the first new album review of the channel. Part of the joy of doing this is that it kind of forces me to start listening to newer music again because old crotchety bastard that I am. I've kind of become bitter about new music, especially new country music, especially when I hear of a country artist who's just like off the charts huge, like in this case, Zach Bryan. I've just come to assume that it must just be commercial schlock. But this album caught my attention from the Due Dissident show because Zach Bryan over the fall made news with this album because of its perceived anti-ICE lyrics in one of the snippets of one of the songs. So if you remember, United States Department of Homeland Security responds to anti-ICE lyrics in Zach Bryan song snippet. On October 3rd, Bryan posted a snippet of an unreleased song on his Instagram with the caption, "The Fading of the Red, White, and Blue." I hear the cops came. Cocky motherfuckers, ain't they? Bryan sings on the track, which according to Stereo Gum is titled Bad News. It is, in fact, titled Bad News off of his new album With Heaven on Top, which we're going to review in a moment. And ICE is going to come bust down your door, try to build a house that no one builds no more, but I got a telephone. Kids are scared and all alone. Bryan's lyrics have since drawn the ire of the federal government, a phenomenon that is becoming increasingly common. On October 7th, Tricia McLaughlin, Assistant Secretary of Public Affairs for the United States Department of Homeland Security, told TMZ that Bryan should stick to pink skies, referencing a song from his 2024 album, The Great American Bar Scene. DHS went on to taunt Bryan by using his song Revival in a recruitment video, keeping it classy as always at the DHS. So this album was kind of on my radar for a few months because of this, and it was released on Friday, January 9th. It is a sprawling 25 track epic album, which actually starts with a spoken word track. The name of the album is With Heaven on Top. And like I said, the state of music nowadays, especially the state of country music, I just kind of assume if a country artist has a big following, it must just be kind of commercial garbage. But in this case, I was very, very pleasantly surprised. I had not been familiar with Zach Bryan's stuff going into this. I had barely heard of him. I mean, I knew he was famous, obviously, when we covered the story on the Due Dissident show earlier in the fall. But I had never heard his stuff. I couldn't have told you a song of his. So I gave this a listen when it came out just out of curiosity. And I got to say, like I said, I was very, very pleasantly surprised. You know, the old saying, the Harlan Howard quote about country music is about three chords and the truth. I think that's totally true. I think country music is really a question of, do you buy it or not? Do you believe it or not? It's all about storytelling. It's all about wearing your heart on your sleeve. The best country artists are the ones who you believe every word out of their mouth, just like you do a great actor or a great poet or a great writer. Johnny Cash, you believe every word he says. Chris Christopherson, you believe every word he says and that he sings. Willie Nelson, at his best, you believe everything that he says, although Willie Nelson's body of work is so vast that he has done projects that are more for fun. That's not a knock on Willie Nelson. He's a giant and a legend. He's one of my top 20 artists of all time, easily. But he has put out some stuff that he would admit, I think, is a little more trivial. But Willie at his best is obviously a Mount Rushmore of country music. And so really the question when it comes to country music is it truthful? Is it honest? Is it from the heart? Do you buy it? Is it authentic? And a lot of modern country music is just not. This really started in the mid 2000s when country music took a turn more into the rock world, but also more into the top 40 world, especially with the rise of like Toby Keith, which was essentially just war propaganda and just, chest beating jingoism, and then you have, the Jason Aldean with the fake tough guy, as Russ says over on Due Dissidence, the Ford F-150 Army type audience. There's a lot of that in new country, and I just kind of assume when someone gets a big following that they are sort of in that milieu of music, I should say. But Zach Bryan, I gotta say, the guy's good. The guy's good. He's only 29 years old. He's put out quite a bit of stuff already. I'm not going to feign familiarity with his previous work since I went into this cold, but perhaps that's a good thing. It is a big album. Like I said, it's 25 tracks. It starts out with a spoken word poem called Down Downstream, which kind of caught my attention right away. And then from there on out, man, the first half of this album especially is really strong. Runny Eggs is good. Appetite, one of the singles, that's a little less memorable, but still a good tune. That's track 3. But then where this album really hits its stride is tracks 4 through 8. Really good. Deanne's Denim, Drowning, Santa Fe. That's a good kind of rockin' tune. He uses a lot of horns in this. He did anticipate critics thinking this album was overproduced, especially for a country album. There's a lot of horns and a lot of strings. And while it may be a little jarring at first, he really makes it work. He really makes it work. The tunes all work. I think Santa Fe is a really good song. Skin is this really kind of visceral, almost eerie kind of breakup song. But he sings from the heart. You buy it. His voice is good. It's very authentic. He really sort of croons melodically without trying to do too much. It doesn't have any of that like fake bravado of a lot of new country music. He's very comfortable in his voice. His voice reminds me of 2 different artists. Brett Dennen, who was a great singer-songwriter, who's still, I think, putting out stuff, but he kind of came out with the sort of, indie wave in the early 2000s when he sort of hit his stride. And then Dylan LeBlanc, who's like an Americana country folk rock singer. I think Zach Bryan kind of sounds like both of those artists in a really good way. There's a sort of plaintive, melancholy quality to a lot of the lyrics. The lyrics are very good. He's only 29, kind of sounds like a guy going through a little bit of, I wouldn't say a midlife crisis, because he actually just got married in Spain a few days before he put this album out. But, taking stock of his regrets and past loves and travels. It really is a travel log. I mean, he name drops a lot of different cities and states and countries that he's been. He really seems like a guy who has lived a life for a 29-year-old. And I think that old soul quality is something that you kind of look for in a lot of country music. A lot of the great country music artists seem like old souls even when they're younger. Like I mentioned, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, right? I mean, so many of these country artists sort of exude the essence of an old man on a porch somewhere, even when they're young and in their prime. And this has that essence as well. There's a warmth to the production, a warmth to the sound. I think the vocals are strong. I think even where it takes some chances sonically, you might think the horns are a little bombastic for a country album, but they're not recorded in a bombastic way. I think it's produced and mixed very well. Dry Desert's track 9. That's okay. Bad News is track 10. That is the perceived anti-ice song. That's a really good tune, just about the bleak state of affairs that this country is experiencing right now. Slicked Back is track 13. Real Tom Petty kind of driving beat influence there. If They Come Looking has some really kind of drenched, wet guitar sounds with some good lead playing on that. Track 16, River Reeks, slips into a sort of Springsteen voice there. He has said that Bruce Springsteen is a huge influence on him. He did a podcast with Springsteen, I believe, in 2024. And so you could definitely hear the influence in some of these songs, but he kind of sounds like his own artist. It's really kind of poetic. It's really earnest. It's really from the heart in ways that I did not expect at all. Now, the album is 25 tracks, and it does kind of run out of steam a little bit past track 17, which is Plastic Cigarettes, which is one of the more trending songs now on the charts. I think that song is decent. I think the last 10 tracks of this are more disposable. I think for the first 15 tracks, this is a 4-star album. I was really, really pleasantly surprised. I really dug it. And then, yeah, it is backloaded with some more disposable stuff. I would say the second half of the album is a 3-star album. The first half is a 4-star album, which lands this at a surprisingly good, for my money, 3.5 stars. I enjoyed it. I will definitely check out his earlier stuff now. I am definitely intrigued. In terms of production, one of the later tracks, Always Willing, has this sort of choir backing him up. Camper is a good song. That's one of the later songs. Sundown Girls is neat, like the sort of string violin work on that. If I were to be critical of the album, like I said, I do think it is a little too long. Again, it's not the end of the world because there's 15, 16 tracks worth of 4-star material here. So you got plenty of good stuff on this album. But it does run a little long. I think it's funny, he put out an acoustic version of the album today. I'm recording this late Monday night. In anticipation of critics thinking it was overproduced, I guess, he put out an acoustic version of the album, which is 49 tracks, because he puts out just solo guitar recordings, guitar and vocal recordings of all 24 songs on the album. And then the second disc, if you will, is the album that was released on January 9th in all of its produced glory. But I feel like, some of the songs on this album could have just been recorded as solo acoustic tunes, as sort of bonus tracks for a deluxe edition. I don't think it needed to be 25 tracks. Not that this stuff is bad. It's just, there is a quality drop off once you get past the first 15, 16 songs. The only other criticism I have of this album is that there is some good vocal harmonies. He has 3 female vocalists, each sing backup singers at different points in the album. Heaven Schmidt, Hannah Lynn Cohen, and Anna Monwale. They play different instruments on the album and they sing backup vocals. Some of those harmonies are really nice, but they're very low in the mix. I feel like if the vocal harmonies were a little louder, he could have really highlighted some of the vocal harmonies here, which are worth highlighting because a lot of them were quite pretty and quite good. So not a perfect album, a little too long, but I gotta say, I made a lot of bad assumptions about Zach Bryan. Whenever I hear country superstar, I think, oh, not for me. I was compelled to check this out, and I'm glad I did. I recommend you check it out as well, With Heaven on Top. 3.5 stars out of 5. We will be doing some new album reviews as part of the channel as well. This is the first one, and it's a good one. It's a good one. In general, these reviews are going to skew more positive since I'm only going to kind of listen to stuff that I am intrigued about, and I'm going to be inclined to only finish listening to albums that I like. If I turn on something that I don't like, I'm not going to listen to 45 minutes worth of terrible music just so I can come on here and give it 1 star. So they will skew more towards the positive side. But hey, this is about finding stuff that we can all share with each other and recommend to each other. And part of the joy in doing this for me is that having a music review channel kind of compels me to take a chance on some new stuff. Old crotchety bastard that I am. I've grown a little bitter about new music, but this is a diamond in the rough of sorts. Not a classic, not a masterpiece, but really solid, really good. 3.5 stars is a very good ranking. I would say 3 stars is good, 4 stars is great, 5 stars is classic. So this is right between good and great. It's really solid. I like it a lot. I think you will too, if you have an appreciation for the best of what country music can be. I think this is a pretty solid effort from Zach Bryan. I recommend that you check it out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.